Well, it's been another very memorable and inspiring day for us all here. We've spent much of the day up at the Tibetan Children's Village, but we began the day with a quite extraordinary experience. We went to see the Tibetan State Oracle, who you can see here. He was in the middle of his trance, and this was a really amazing thing to witness, and certainly something I'll never forget. Let's just take a look at what's going on here. So there's a long line of monks and nuns and lay people like ourselves who are lining up to see the oracle. He's putting a bit of red cloth around our necks and handing us a small handful of barley flour. There's Melissa. We're now back at the Tibetan Children's Village again. This is the director, Mr. Saramyeshi, and this, I think, is the boys' dormitory. Now, many of the Tibetans that you've probably met in Sydney, Melbourne, elsewhere in Australia have been to the Tibetan Children's Village School. This looks like an English language lesson.
Patriotism. So those parents who can pay them, they ask money. Those who cannot pay,
Melissa, Peter, I want you to hear this in particular because it's very personal.
This is a bit further up the hill. This is the high school. And this playing field, this was carved out by hand over 7 years by students and teachers at the school.
3 months.
Currently, we have over 16,000 under our care and responsibility.
It's been my favourite part of the trip. I just think it's really important to be investing in the future. And we were just saying before, I'd really like, as one of the things that we do when we go back, to perhaps establish some type of scholarship for young Tibetans in Australia to come and do the summer course. I think that would be a wonderful thing for us to be able to offer. So we'll take that back and see how we can do that. But thank you very much. Thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful.
We're now back with Pempa Sering. He's the Speaker of the Tibetan Parliament. And here we are in the Tibetan Parliament chamber. The funny thing here was, as soon as we walked in, the senators and MPs seemed to just sit down in their usual positions, opposite each other, in their different parties. Here's Nudabla. I think he's fancying himself as a Tibetan MP there. Now this is Kalong Kasangtakla, the Tibetan Foreign Minister, who many of you will know, I think, because she visited Australia last year. Here we're holding a press conference for the Indian and the Tibetan media.
We talked about what foreign friends of Tibet could do, not just in political ways, but in the ways that Melissa Park identified.
One of the things that His Holiness was very careful to impress on us as guests here, and as people also as MPs who've come under quite strong criticism in Australia from the Chinese embassy there, was that he was very careful to ensure that we were not taking an anti-Chinese position, that we have no issue with the Chinese people.
Wanting to know more about the situation, wanting to know more from His Holiness about the teachings and the culture of what is such an ancient and important
that justice for the Tibetan people will prevail with the middle way that His Holiness has espoused.
I also think that it's a matter of great concern that governments around the world, including succeeding or successive governments in Australia, maybe have been persuaded by the need to trade with China and as a result haven't spoken out as strongly as we collectively should have to support the aspirations of
and to us that's an extraordinarily generous approach from the leader of the people.
One of the things that we were most impressed by was the very detailed alternatives he gave us about the sensitive topic of succession. So he explained to us what is widely understood amongst the Tibetan people, that the Chinese government's seizure of the Panchen Lama does not prevent.
And here we are with our last meeting of the day, and here we're meeting with a number of the Tibetan NGOs, Tibetan Women's Association, Guchu Sam, Students for Free Tibet, and this was really great. This was a chance for me both to meet a lot of my colleagues internationally, and it was a great opportunity for our party to understand some of the grassroots, on-the-ground work that goes on in the Tibetan community.
Wonderful.